make sure you stay tuned and watch our events come on. We're going to do Ireland. We're going to do Finland, like the Northern Lights. We're going to do Alpaca My Bag, which is going to focus on Central and South America. We're going to do the Canadian Rockies. I mean, we have 6 different type of events all across the world, and we'll continue to add them as long as you guys keep watching. To see a list of our events, you would just need to go to gotravelpros.com/events.
If Jennifer, one of you or one of the agents want to type that into the chat box, that might be helpful too. Yeah.
Sarah's got it. Hi, baby dog. You got a helper, Glenda? You're muted.
Oh, yes, I have a helper. He has to be right on my backside every time I turn around.
What a good boy.
Yeah. He thinks he's a little one.
So ladies, it's 6:03.
Right.
Jennifer, I did start the recording just a couple of minutes early because I know you were kind of giving some information, introducing yourself, but I know we're probably still going to have some that are going to hop on. Right now, we're looking at about 72 participants, and I know we have about 105 registered. So I don't know if any of you hear the kind of the pinging from people joining, but I do apologize ahead. That might continue for just a little while longer, and I'm sure it'll probably die out here. Jennifer, why don't you, if you want to, go back into the introduction, introduce me, and then I'll begin my presentation.
Wonderful. I have been with Travel Pros now. I've owned it since 25 years, and combined with the other ladies that are with my team, Sarah Fry and Glenda, we have over 35 years of experience in the travel industry. We're very excited about what we do. We are here to build relationships with you. We want to find what is it that you're looking for and kind of start a new travel revolution. And that is the beginning of tonight. It's our first presentation. We wanted to focus on America, and I think it's a great place to start, is to start giving back to where we belong. So I really appreciate Gerard being here with us, and we came up with this idea, and he's going to have some great presentations for us.
Great. And I don't know, did Sarah or Glenda, did they want to introduce themselves as well?
Sure. I'm Sarah Fry. I have been with Jennifer, well, officially for about a year now, but love to travel. I've been traveling forever and love new things, trying new foods. So that's really what drives me to go somewhere, is eating all of the yummy food and live music. So Jennifer, Glenda, and I have been having a lot of fun, and we're super excited for, changing travel and the way it happens, and how we can educate people about places and trips before they make a decision on where they actually want to go.
Hi, I'm Glenda. I'm originally from New Orleans. I live in Houston now. I've been with Jennifer a little over 10 years, I believe, give or take a few months. We've been through a lot together. Travel has changed so much, and I met her because I love to travel and because I chose to share that with other people, my passion for it. The Caribbean is my favorite place, but I like the whole world. Of course, I'm not going to turn a trip down. It's just day-to-day booking and giving people their dreams. It's something that really touches you. So that's why I'm here.
Great. Well, thank you, ladies. And I'm so glad to be partnered up with the three of you and for this adventure that we're about to go on. For those that didn't hear me earlier, or might have hopped on early, you might have heard me introduce myself, but my name is Gerard Welch, and I'm actually the local representative with Colette Vacations. I reside in Alexandria, Virginia, but as you can see from this screen here, I manage a fairly large geographical area. I've been with Colette for going on 6 years, and just to give you some background information on Colette, we are, I believe, the oldest still ongoing tour operator in the United States. So You're a very trusted, family-oriented tour operator. We're based out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and we offer 160 tours, if you can believe that, all around the world on all 7 continents. And much like how Glenda had expressed her passion for travel, and Sarah and Jennifer, I also love traveling. You know, I've been traveling since I've been a little boy and still ongoing into the future. And it's just one of those great things to kind of just go out there and see the world and meet new people and new cultures, try new food. And that's what it's all about. And I'm so glad to have all of you on this call and talk about some of the great national parks that we have to offer here in the United States. So Jennifer did mention earlier that we are going to be doing these about once a month over several different themes. If you want to see what other webinars that we will be discussing in the future, go ahead and go to their main website. I believe they have them all posted there, and pre-register yourself, because there are going to be some exciting destinations that we have for you. For those who have never heard about Colette before, I wanted to just kind of show you what's typically included on a Colette package. And for those who are on this webinar, I've been posting just a copy of a link to an online catalog that we have available, just in case you don't have a physical one in front of you. But go ahead and take a look at that link if you have time. But what's included on a Colette tour? Well, one of the things is we want to make sure that everything is professionally planned for all of you, because as we know, when we're planning for a trip, whether it be for family or for friends, it does take up a lot of time. So what's really great about a Colette tour is that we have these itineraries already preset and done. But that doesn't mean that, you know, every day is planned and structured. A lot of the days that we have planned for our itineraries, there's plenty of leisure time if you want to go out with family or friends to grab a bite to eat, or maybe you want to meet up with friends, or just kind of go out with your partner, or a self-exploration. You know, you'll have plenty of time to do so. Another thing that's included on our packages are our hotel accommodations. I would actually encourage all of you, whenever you take a look at these itineraries that I'm going to be discussing, take a look at where the hotel properties are located, because we strategically select our hotels, and they have to be at least 4-star hotel accommodations. But sometimes, you know, I say strategically because for the most part, if we're in a major city, we want to make sure that those hotels are centrally located. But some of these national parks, we're not necessarily inside of a city. We're kind of more out in the wilderness, which is excellent for photography or being in the mountains or seeing just some, you know, some wildlife. And one of the great things too about all of our tours is that there's a professional tour manager who's going to be with you throughout the whole entire package. They're going to stay at the same hotels as all of our guests. They'll pass out their contact information, their room number, and they're experts in the field. They'll give you all the ins and outs of every destination that we go to, and overall, there's just great people to work with. So all of our tours are fully guided. Most meals are included, and you know, once again, take a look at our catalog, and you'll see all the details located on each and every one of those itineraries. So without further ado, let's dive into our national parks. I'm going to actually mute everybody, but the ladies who are hosting this, they can unmute themselves just to cut out some background noise. Okay, so National Parks of America. I'm primarily going to talk about some of the great national parks that are inside the United States. We have about 100 or so national parks spread throughout the whole United States, from deserts to forests alike. A lot of the national parks have been around for hundreds of thousands of years, maybe even millions of years if you're looking at Yellowstone. And a lot of these national parks have visitors throughout the time of the year, over 200 to 300 million visitors per year. So that's quite a lot. And some great people take care of these national parks, from park rangers to volunteers. I think I read some statistic that there's over 300,000 volunteers that work at the national parks annually. So a lot of great people that help keep these national parks up and running. One of the first national parks that I'll talk about is the Badlands National Park, which is very much of a geological wonder. And there's a variety of different animal life in these national parks, from bison to prairie dogs, coyotes, bighorn sheep. I believe even in the Badlands, they have a black-footed ferret, which they just reintroduced back into the environment. It used to be on the endangered list, but now it's starting to build up over there. And also for the Badlands, I think the landscape has been around for over 70 million years, to be more precise. So really rich in history and culture and just its natural environment. Also, some of the national parks, a good handful of them, do visit the Grand Canyon. And if you've never seen the Grand Canyon, this is definitely a must-see. It's one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and it's absolutely incredible. It dates back over 2 billion years in its entirety. And if you look at the photography of the Grand Canyon in itself, just imagine at one period of time, there used to be this large river that used to flow through it over eons of time. So we'll talk a little bit about some of those national parks of the Grand Canyon on some of these itineraries. We'll also be able to see Yellowstone National Park, which covers over 3,500 square miles. It has one of the largest volcanoes, active volcanoes in the world. It's technically called a super volcano. It's one of 5 large volcanoes. It has numerous geysers, hiking trails, and also, of course, Old Faithful, which has been there for eons of time. We'll also head over to one of the Utah's first national parks, which is Zion. It's absolutely beautiful with its red, yellow, orange hues. It definitely reminds me a lot of Bryce Canyon National Park, but slightly different in terms of its canyon-like structure. And you'll also be able to experience the canyon floor from a tram ride, which will take you through the national park, which is absolutely amazing. Now, I won't talk much about Glacier National Park because that will be more so on our Canadian webinar, but we do have a Canadian tour that does visit the Glacier National Park if it's something you might be interested in, and that'll give you a chance to cross the Continental Divide. And also, we do have a brand new tour that I don't have information on, but if you are interested in going on a tour to Montana, we do have a brand new itinerary that's going to be released this May for next year that will visit Glacier National Park, part of our Montana package. And then we'll also be able to see the wonderful Banff, also part of that package. Now, once again, I won't go too much in detail of this because that's going to be included on our Canadian package where we stay at a Fairmont property. So just to give you some brief history of some of the national parks, I believe it all really started in 1864 when Abraham Lincoln signed the Yosemite Grant, which gave essentially federal money to establish the preservation of this land for the American people. But it really, the national parks didn't become established until Ulysses S. Grant became president. So it was in 1872 that Yellowstone became the first recognized national park, and then Canada quickly followed with Banff National Park in 1885, which fast forward in time led to the world starting to create national preservation of national parks. And I believe inside the United States alone, there's about 60 national parks. And then in the world globally, there's about 4,000 national parks worldwide. So really quite fascinating how they first started right here in our own neck of the woods. Now, when you're packing for the national parks, I think personally it's really important to decide what time of the year that you're going and what national park you're going to, because weather can definitely affect how the temperature ranges, or if you're going to bring like hiking shoes or a raincoat. So make sure you take a look at what time of the year that you are going on these national parks. Also, you know, I talked about rain a little bit, but you definitely want to bring a raincoat. But more importantly, we're trying to keep track of like litter on these tours, and in some of these packages, we even talk about some of the volunteers that come over here. Some of those 30,000 volunteers, they help with maintaining the national parks. Also, another thing that you want to bring whenever you're going on one of these incredible national park packages is you probably want to bring like a water bottle, because some of the packages and some of the days that we're out there, it can be pretty long days of just kind of walking on the trails or exploring on the grounds. So having a nice little water bottle with you to stay hydrated is definitely a great tip for all of you. And then lastly, I definitely would bring some sunscreen with you, because some of the national parks, especially the ones that visit the southwest of the United States, where we get into Arizona and Utah, the sun can be very hot. It's a very dry climate. So having some sunscreen to protect you would be pretty important as well. So once again, depending on the time of the year you go to, some of the national parks will range in temperature. It could be anywhere from, I would say, like even like 50 degrees if you're going like October, and even in Yellowstone can get colder than that. We used to have a package that visited Yellowstone during the winter, and I had some incredible stories of some of our guests who saw some wolves like hunting a bison on that trip, but that was a small group trip. I'm not sure if we're going to bring that one back. But once again, the temperature ranges depending on what time of the year you're going. It can range even up close to 90+ degrees in the southwest area. So definitely take a look at that. Also, I would definitely look at the off season if you're looking for a good deal in terms of price points. And when I say off season or the low season, I'm looking at like March and April, and I'm also looking at September. I'm also looking at like October, November. Those tend to be like the low to off season. If you're looking for a really great deal with like less crowds there, I'd probably plan my trip sometime around that so you're not overrun by all the people visiting these national parks. So let's kick back and let's dive into our first national park, and that's going to be our National Parks of America tour. This is really a great package because this is one, if you've never been to any of the national parks out west, this one visits 5 different national parks. It has a cruise component to it. We enjoy 2 nights in Salt Lake City and Jackson Hole. We head into the Sioux Nation territory where we'll be able to see Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse Monument, and this package starts at about $38.99 in terms of the double rate. Here's just a screenshot of where we're going and where we're staying. The numbers inside the dots indicate how many nights we stay at a particular destination. So as you can see, it's 1 night, 1 night, 1 night, 2 nights, 2 nights, 1 night, 1 night. Now, at first glance, you might think, wow, that's a lot of moving and grooving. But I tell you what, out of 160 packages that Colette has to offer for national parks, this ranks in the top 5. Year in, year out. And once again, I've been with Colette for 6 years and I've always seen it in the top 5. And we get those rankings from all of you. So essentially all of you are telling us that you love this package. And we get a lot of repeat travelers who will go on this package too. So here's just some quick highlights. You know, when we head up into the Northwest region, Wyoming and the Dakota region, that's kind of what I like to call the cowboy and Indians theme. There's also a big history of the gold rush that came into the area. We have a nice little chuck wagon dinner, which is awesome because they do a little song and dance with us. They do a chuck wagon ride, and then they do like a little eatery right outside the chuck wagon, which is a lot of fun. Also, we'll be able to see Old Faithful geyser. I believe that's shoots water into the air about every 30 minutes to an hour. And one of the great things about visiting these national parks that I don't think that a lot of tour operators or travelers even think about or talk about, but we actually have an engagement with one of the local tribes chieftains and talk about their history, the Lakota Nation. And that's included on several one of our national park trips, which I'd recommend for all of you. So it's a really great package. And I always like to start off with that one because it's a great one if you're new going to the national parks. And then that national park itinerary breaks down into minor ones. So the next one I wanted to take your eyes to is Canyon Country. And this one visits those the canyon areas in the Southwest region. This is going to be Bryce, Zion, and the Grand Canyon. We also do take an adventure over to the Kaibab National Forest before we head into the Grand Canyon itself. And we also have a lake cruise or a cruise right on Lake Powell for 2 nights at our resort. So this package starts off at $26.99. And here's just a screenshot of where we're going and where we're staying. So as you can see, we're going to fly over into Phoenix. We're going to start our tour in Scottsdale, and then we're going to head north before we head over into Las Vegas. This is a great package if you've never visited some of the Utah national parks, you've never seen the Grand Canyon. And it's also a great tour if you want to try your hand at Lady Luck at the casinos in Las Vegas. It's actually very common for a lot of guests who want to stay an extra couple nights in Las Vegas. If that's something you might be interested in, just like one of our travel advisors know, and we can look into making those accommodations for you. So once again, we visit Bryce Canyon National Park, where we can see the famous hoodoos that are there, the red, yellow, orange hues, that southwestern colors that you'll see all throughout the landscape. We even take you out on like a morning excursion where you can see the sunrise and get some great photography of some of these national parks. Also Zion National Park, where we take a tram ride. So really great itinerary. You can't go wrong with it. So Painted Canyons of the West is a brand new package that we introduced probably about 3 years ago, and we got some rave reviews on it, and I think it's probably going to take hold of in the top 20 tours overall. And this package starts off at $27.99, and this one primarily visits Denver's Rocky Mountain area, but we also have this package that visits in the Arches, the Canyonlands. It takes you over to Dead Horse, Zion, Bryce, much like Canyon Country. But one of the things that separates this one from Canyon Country right away is that we don't go into the Grand Canyon National Park. A lot of times we do get a lot of guests who've done Grand Canyon and they haven't done some of the national parks that surround the area. So in my opinion, this is a great option if you kind of want to see those Colorado, Utah parks without seeing the Grand Canyon. So as you can see, this one starts in Denver, and then we start to head west down into the southwest area into Las Vegas. And just some quick highlights for you. We experience that cowboy dinner in the Moab. We get to see the Reef National Park. There's even like some magnetic properties that's supposed to administer some type of healing for our guests, which we'll talk about while on tour. And also we'll see the Dead Horse Point Park in the Moab. So really fun tour. I think it's going to take over one of our top destinations. So Spotlight on South Dakota is a great introduction of another brand that we have to offer. Spotlight Tours, if you ever see the word Spotlight in front of a tour, that means it's a single hotel stay where you get to unpack once and simply just relax. And this one primarily stays in South Dakota. And this package begins at $17.99 per person. So definitely, if you're looking for something more in the cost savings aspect, but you still want to see some of those great national parks like the Badlands National Park, Deadwood, and this definitely has a lot more like Wild Wild West theme to it, with the Cowboys theme to it. We also do have an opportunity to see some wild horses, which I've gotten some guest takes of photography of some of the wild horses that are around this area, which is absolutely incredible. But here, once again, here's a map of where we're going, where we're staying. Really, it's really simple, right? 6 nights, Rapid City, you unpack once, and you spoke and hub from there. And this is also fully guided too. So there's going to be a guide with us throughout this whole entire package. If you're really interested in a little bit of that history with the Wild Wild West and the Gold Rush, this might be the great package for you. So quick highlights here, you know, you can see the Black Hills, you can see that American Prairie, the Black-footed ferret that I talked about. You can see one of the first national historic monuments in Devil's Tower there. Here's a shot of it on the far right. And obviously we'll also be able to see Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse Memorial, which is really a sight to see in life. So another great package I wanted to talk about is America's Cowboy Country, and very much similar to the Spotlight on South Dakota, but in my opinion, it does offer a little bit more. And as you can see here, here's just a map of where we're going and where we're staying. So we'll head 2 nights into Jackson Hole. We actually meet up with the local Boy Scouts of America in Jackson Hole, and we get to hear about a little bit about their excursions out into the national parks and how they give back into the community. This package does visit over to the Grand Teton National Park, so you can see the 12 mountaintops that make up the Grand Tetons. We do visit Yellowstone National Park for 1 evening before we head out east. Stop in Cody, we'll learn a little bit about Wild Bill Hickok, Calamity Jane, before we head into South Dakota for 3 evenings. So big differences, you know, you get a little bit more on this package than that Spotlight on South Dakota. And also we do get to visit, you know, Mount Rushmore and the must-sees that make up South Dakota and the Rapid City. But this one does feature Old Faithful, the Grand Tetons, and Crazy Horse Memorial. And we also take you over to the Black Hills Gold and Diamond Factory, so we can learn a little bit about that history of the gold rush that took place in the surrounding area. So really good package if you're interested in that history. Another package that we have is the Colorado Rockies, and this visits primarily just Colorado. So if you want to see the mile-high city of Denver, what makes up Denver, if you're interested in train rides, this is a great package because we not only hop on board 1 train, but we hop on board 2 different trains on this tour. And it's like one of those old steam and cog engine trains that you dream about. We visit Colorado National Monument, Arches National Park, much what we saw in some of the other packages, but it does have that train element to it. And Denver is very much an up-and-coming city in the West, what I would consider. So you can kind of see the old town area and what formed the new town area. And it very much does have that spirit of the Old West to it. So this package begins at $25.99 per person. And definitely I'd recommend if you're truly interested in just the Colorado parks. So here's just some quick highlights once again. One of the great aspects of this tour is that farm to table aspect. I don't believe any other national park tour has that. And I really like that because you can kind of see what farm life is like, and we get to meet the owners of the farm and they get to walk us around. And also, fun fact for you, but if you're a wine connoisseur, Colorado's coming out with some amazing variety of wines. They're a really emerging market for wines. And I believe we actually take you to a winery on this particular program too. So really great tour if you've never been out to the Colorado area and you just want to see it. So, I forgot about this. I'll skip over this because I'm going to talk more about that on the Canadian one. So I'm almost coming to the end here, but I just wanted to show you some quick photography that some of our guests have taken that was submitted to us. We have a great photography on our Instagram page for some of our national parks. So here's just Scottsdale for you. Here's the Cathedral Rock. I did talk about this earlier about the magnetic properties supposedly that come from Cathedral Rock. It's supposed to provide relaxation, and just overall it's a great area for meditation. I also love this shot that I'm going to show you here next because you can really see the orange and yellow and red hues from the sun. And I didn't mention this earlier, but we do visit the local Native Americans in the Pueblos, and we visit a lot of artisanal galleries or art galleries. So if you really want to buy something that's really, truly authentic, this will be a great opportunity for you. Here's just a shot of the Grand Canyon. You can see the magnificent valley and the river that flows through it. And really at one period of time, that river used to be like all the way up to the top. So I think that's absolutely incredible to see that. And just, it's crazy to think that there was a river that high. Here's just a shot of the Lake Powell. So I didn't talk about this earlier, but we have two different shore excursions on Lake Powell. We have a breakfast cruise, and then we also take you over to the dam so we can learn a little bit about hydroelectric energy that's produced from the dam. And I read a little fun fact over this area, but apparently there's like 300 days of sunlight a year in this area. So that's more sunshine that even Florida gets. So little area outside of Florida. And here's Bryce Canyon National Park. You can see the famous hoodoos that arise here. And also when we think of hoodoos, we think of Bryce Canyon, but there's also hoodoos up in the Canadian Rockies too, I just found out. So here's Zion National Park. Here's a great shot of it. As you can tell, a little bit different than Bryce, has a little bit more forestry feel to it. Jackson Hole, you can see the wildlife here, the eagles, the cows that you see in this shot, the bison. And we used to offer like a winter tour here. I'm not sure if we're going to come back to that, but I hope we do. Here's a really incredible shot, the Grand Teton National Park. Here's Yellowstone, where we can see the geysers that are here, the hot springs. We'll be able to walk. We actually get up close to the geyser itself. So we'll get like a group shot for everybody that's going on the tour. Here's just another shot of Old Faithful. Some more of the wildlife here. I believe this is the Colorado tour. Here's Crazy Horse Memorial. I love showing our guests this shot because it's still an ongoing project from like, I want to say like the early 20th century. So it's still under construction. And there's a shot, a miniature statue of it right in front of the Crazy Horse Memorial that shows you what it's supposed to look like. So it's absolutely massive, and it's still underneath construction. I believe they only take private donations. We also walk along the presidential trail. So we learn about just presidential history as we head over to Mount Rushmore. And if you're really up for a treat, I might look at this tour during 4th of July because they have an amazing fireworks display above Mount Rushmore. So that'd be a really fun trip for the family and friends if you want to go here. Here's just a shot of Colorado National Monument, really great bird's eye view of the valley. Here's the Arches National Park. You can spend days in Arches. I had some friends that went out here, did some hiking. They spent 3 days in Arches. It's just absolutely massive. I want to say it's over like 30,000 square miles. So it's absolutely massive. Here's Canyonlands National Park, Dead Horse Point State Park. Once again, just absolutely amazing just to see this is the natural area here. And people don't realize, like, the national parks have so much to offer right in our backwoods, and a lot of travelers will go out in the world to go to Europe, South America, Central America, but the United States is absolutely massive. I mean, you can just go on an adventure right here out west. Here's just a shot of Badlands National Park, the Devil's Tower, one of the first national monuments dedicated in the United States. Here's Deadwood. And a little fun thing they do for our guests is they do like a little cowboy shootout right in the middle. And we will have some free time to like walk around and cruise through the shops too. There's also an old saloon that we advise you to go to. And they have these old like saddle seats that horsebacks that they put on horses. And we always get guests who like wear like cowboy hats to sit in those seats. Here's just another shot of Colorado Rockies. Here's the train, one of the trains that we ride on the Durango or in the Colorado Rockies. This is one of two trains. And if you look closely at the photo, you can see that the windows are open. So you get a nice light breeze as we're traversing through by the Animas River and through the San Juan Mountains. And you also have an opportunity to travel across the Continental Divide. And for those that don't know, that Continental Divide goes all the way down into Argentina. And I think it's one of the largest roads that traverses through the Americas. Here's Garden of the Gods. I believe this is in our Colorado package. And then that concludes it. So I just wanted to show you some just quick photos. So I'm almost coming to a conclusion here, but I just want to switch gears and just kind of go over what's typically, what's also included on our packages. So anytime you book one of our collect tours or our national park tours or any tour for that matter, we include a door-to-door service for you as a guest. So when you use our air, we'll actually be able to send a private sedan service directly to your home. And that driver will assist with loading up your luggage into the vehicle, and we'll take you to and from the airport on each and every one of our tours. I believe that's a great value add. It's hassle-free. You don't have to worry about leaving your car in a parking garage at the airport and paying $20 to $25 a day at the airport. We're going to make it hassle-free for all of you. And also, if you want to travel with a larger group, just talk to one of our travel advisors. We can even do this for groups, and we can pick everybody up at a centrally located area. If you want to personalize your tour, we can look at upgrading your airfare. If you want to use your frequent flyer miles, talk to your travel advisor. They can work with you on that. We have a variety of different optional excursions. In this particular photo, they're doing kind of like a whitewater rafting. We have that in our Cowboy Country package, so you can do whitewater rafting, or if you just want to do a river float. A lot of times we do get guests who want to arrive a couple days early or stay a few days later. If that's something you're interested in, we'll make arrangements for you. We can provide a quote for you for the hotel, the lodging, and transportation. And there's also some extensions depending on the package. We also offer an incredible travel protection plan or an insurance policy. I highly encourage you all to purchase insurance, especially during this type of environment. And with our travel protection, you can cancel for any reason right up to the day before departure, and we'll give you a full refund minus the cost of insurance. Plus, while you're on tour, it'll cover for medical assistance, lost luggage, any substantial delays of 12 hours or more, or if we need to get you out of there, it'll cover for emergency evacuation. Now, I know we probably have some travelers, hopefully we have some travelers on this call that have traveled with us, and I just want to say personally, thank you for traveling with us. And for those who've never traveled with us before, hope to see you on a collect tour here soon. We're going to automatically enroll you into our Passport Club, and this is part of our loyalty program. So the next time you travel with us within 2 years, you're going to earn some credits. So you'll earn $150 off if you travel within 1 year from your last departure date. And if you travel between 13 and 24 months, basically that 2-year window, we're going to give you $100 off per person. So I'm coming to the end here, and we do have an incredible offer for all of you who decided to join us on this webinar. Talk to your travel advisor, Sarah, Glenda, or Jennifer. I gave them an offer code to give all of you an incredible discount on all of our national park tours. This offer is only valid from today up to April 1st. So once again, I gave our lovely travel advisors an offer code. So give them a call, shoot them an email, reach out to them. They'll be able to provide a really good discount for all of you on booking one of our national parks anytime from now up to April 1st. And I'm going to wrap it up by just kind of giving another shout out to all of our great travel advisors here. Here's their contact information, phone numbers, and email addresses. And once again, this is recorded. So if you do want to watch it later, or if you want to share it with a friend, I'll give the recording over to our travel advisors to share with you. So otherwise than that, I thank you all for joining us on this presentation. Jennifer, or Glenda or Sarah, did either of the three of you, did you want to say any last words before we wrap it up?
I do. Our next showing is called The Three Eyes, which is Iceland, Ireland, and Italy. That one is going to be on April 15th, same time at 6 p.m. Then on May 20th, it's Royalty, Kilts, and Guinness. And that one is going to be, of course, England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. June 17th, we're doing Northern Lights and Vikings, which is going to be Norway, Finland, Sweden. And let's see, the next one is July 15th. We're calling that Glaciers, Lakes, and Wine. And that is the Western Canadian Rockies. And they take you to a nice vineyard. And then on August 19th, we have Alpaca My Bag, and you bring the coffee. And that is what? Panama, Costa Rica, Peru, and Guatemala. Is that correct? Or Ecuador? Sorry, it's Ecuador.
And we do have all of these links up on our events page now to register for them ahead of time. So anytime you would like to go to either our Facebook page or our website, the links to register are already there for all of these events.
Great. So I know I had a lot of questions in the chat box. I thank our lovely travel advisors for answering all the questions, or as many questions as possible. Just to kind of save time, if you do have any questions after this webinar, reach out to Jennifer, Glenda, or Sarah. They're the experts in the field, and they'll do their best to help all of you with any questions afterwards. So once again, I thank you all for coming out here. I'm excited to get back traveling. I know we got a lot of guests out there and people ready to go out there and travel the world. Travel is just knocking on the door, and I'm excited to get back going. So thank you all for coming out this evening, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening. Take care.
Thank you.